All right, today we're going to take a look at two basic properties of falling. And these are important to understand in terms of how we look at throws and how we look at what's going on in a throw. The two forms are Otoshi, which translates as dropping, and Guruma, which translates as wheel. And functionally, they're related to how ukes transit toward the ground and reactive properties of what's going on in uke. So let's take the simplest first, which is Otoshi. This comes up in a lot of throws like, in judo, kata, osoto otoshi or kata otoshi. When you find it in Aikido application, its most simplest form would be as he takes a forward step and his body goes into body drop, his center of gravity sinks as his feet come apart. I extend that a little, and he just has a nice forward rolling action. His center just descends toward the ground. So as he steps forward, and we just extend him, the center of gravity takes a straight line dropping toward the ground. His body contorts around it in a rolling form, but anything that makes the center of gravity go straight toward the ground or in a straight line toward the ground can be considered a form of Otoshi. Whether it happens in a forward roll like this, as he steps forward, or if we make it in an extension, I extend his step and hold on to his hand like that, his body travels and goes fairly immediately toward the ground. That's Otoshi. The second property we want to take a look at is Guruma. And Guruma is the activity of a wheel turning. You could say, well, that looks like a wheel turning. Yeah, this is a wheel, but we turn it on its side. So it's turning more like one of those spinning platters on a table. If we have him and we rotate him in this sort of plane, turning him around like you would have a log suspended vertically, and you're just rolling the log on a spindle like this. This is Guruma action. And Guruma action can turn him and set him down so that you have a very little gradual action. He just sits down kind of, just turns him 180 degrees. You see forms of, like an Ashiro Ate, for instance, that do this to him. Nice little Guruma action there in the middle. But when you see them in their full-bodied form, it's as if it's you get a springing form or a form that happens out of an airfall like an Otoshi. But then as the man is going into the air, as his reflexes kick him into space, his plane flattens out and you get a classical Guruma. His body, in other words, ceases to go in this line and starts to turn in this line as it goes through space. And so that turning of the log function that we see right here will actually be taking place in midair on more of a horizontal plane. That looks kind of like this. So as he went over, he didn't fall directly in that line where he was heading. He fell, a little further over. We can make a more extreme form, and it'll be, he falls all the way, 90 degrees from where he came. You could extend it out, wind up throwing them damn near back where they came from. And it's that rotational quality and that torsion between the bodies that tends to create that moment of Guruma. Now sometimes Guruma happens because of the activity of the thrower, of the nage or tori, but sometimes it's just an activity of reflex that's happening in uke. And most often in randori play or when you're just moving around with somebody, you'll see this reflex come up. He begins to take some sort of falling action forward. He tries to stop himself, and his own body reflex of trying to rise up from that awkward condition. Let's watch it again. Yeah, see his body pop up? He's doing all that to himself. That's his own reflex, and it's an attempt to stave off the off balance in the forward fall. And as his body reflexes and tries to pull back, automatic goes right into Guruma. You see this exploited a lot in activities in judo as well. So that's basically it. Otoshi, falling down in a hole, going forward roll. Guruma, turning like a wheel, the more flat horizontal spin. So thank you. Thank you. Good.